Hi guys, welcome back. So let's see how you can create objects in Java before we move forward on inheritance. Okay, so if you have a certain class called animal, then if you want to create an object of animal, you use the new keyword, the name of the class, followed by this set of parentheses attached to it. So let me explain to you. This is the name of the class, this is the new keyword, and this is a call to a constructor. So I'm going to explain more about the call to a constructor when we will be discussing about constructors in the following slide. Okay, so let's look at constructors. So what is a constructor? A constructor is a special method of a class that does not have a return type. For example, look at this sample code. You see that we have a class animal, and then this is a constructor. And when you look at this constructor, the name of a constructor must be the same as the name of the class in which it belongs to. This is why in our class animal, the name of the constructor is also animal. But when you look at this, it doesn't have a return type. Okay, and then it has an empty parameter list for this our case. So in this our case, we say that this is a no argument constructor because a constructor doesn't have a parameter. But you can also overload constructors. So you can have a constructor that has a parameter. You can also have a constructor that does not have a parameter. So in the following slide, I'm going to differentiate between two types of constructors: a constructor that has a parameter, a constructor that does not have a parameter. For example, this is a constructor that does not have a parameter. And then these constructors that do not have parameters, there are two types. Okay, one is called no argument, and then the other one is called the default constructor. So the default constructor is a no argument constructor like this, but it is a constructor that is inserted by Java. So the rule is that if you create your class and you don't insert a constructor in your class, Java is going to insert a default constructor, and a default constructor is just empty. So look at this class, public class animal. It doesn't have a constructor. So Java is going to make sure that it will insert a default constructor in this code at compile time. Okay, now you look at this class, you see that we created a constructor, even though this constructor is empty, but we added a constructor. Okay, so this constructor looks the same like the default constructor that is added by Java, but the only difference is that this one is called a no argument constructor because it was inserted by us, the programmers. Okay, now so if you don't put a constructor, Java is going to put something that looks like this. Okay, so that is the difference between a no argument constructor and a default constructor. Okay, so a default constructor is a no argument constructor that is inserted by Java. Take note of that. Okay, so remember I just said that when you add a constructor in your code, Java no longer adds one. It means that once a constructor appears in your code, like this example, we have added a constructor called animal. So this constructor exists, so Java is no longer going to add the default constructor. And the rule when dealing with inheritance says that if you have a subclass of another class, then that subclass, the constructor of that subclass, must call at least one constructor in the parent class. So look at this example. You see that the constructor in lion, which is this constructor, is making a call to a constructor in the animal class using the super keyword. So you use the super keyword to call a constructor in the parent class. So if there are many constructors in the parent class, the rule says that the constructor of the child class must call at least one of those constructors. So in this example, we have just a single constructor in the parent class, and we have called it here using the super keyword. So you see that we are calling that constructor, this constructor, and since this constructor has a string parameter, we must supply a string argument, a single string argument to it. If you just call super without anything inside, it will not compile because Java will look into that parent class and it will realize that there is no such constructor. Okay, so basically that is how constructors are called. So if you don't add a constructor, Java will add the default constructor, and then if you add a constructor, Java will no longer add another constructor. Okay, and then if a class has a constructor,